these are things that can be challenging for a neurodivergent brain. And we look at the why. Like, well, I came here to do a job, and those things are not part of my job, and I'm willing to stay later. So there's issues with that. So what am I thinking about this week? So I was trying to figure out, what causes my paralysis. And I think because when I start figuring out what my goals are for the week, sometimes I'll do what my counselor calls a thought download. This morning, I decided to type it to myself in text because I figured I'll set my goals for the week. And usually I write so much down because I'm trying to get it all out of my brain so I don't forget it. And forgive me if I'm subject hopping this morning because I did run out of my ADHD script and have to go pick it up. So I'm a little all over the place, but bear with me. Like I said, what you'll get will be authentic. It's not highly polished. I might not be looking the best. I might not be looking like how I will if I go and run out and do an errand later, or how I would be at work. But this is me. This is the real me. This is me unmasked. And I hope that I can share some things with you that might be helpful on your journey. I feel like ADHD and autism can sometimes have a lot of similarities. And with the crossover, you might call them symptoms, you might call them challenges, struggles. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you have one, the other, or both. I have executive functioning issues with planning. The time blindness, yes. Executive functioning issues for sure. So what does that look like for me? For me, if I sit and I do a thought download, which I think is an excellent phrase for it, I know that there's a million things that I want to do with my week. So I'm setting up my goals for my week, and then I can look at it and say, okay, out of all of these, which is most important? Executive functioning. So if I struggle with executive functioning, and they all look important to me, and then I struggle to figure out which one do I want to do first? What is the most important thing for me to do first? Well, if they all look important, that's what adds to sometimes your task paralysis. It gets very overwhelming if your brain works a little bit different. So let's say your brain doesn't have a secretary, which can easily filter out things that are superfluous. Is that the right way? It's just like not important, extra, like, yeah, you really don't need to worry about that. But people don't realize that thing that you just automatically thought, oh, that's not important. That's a function that's going on in your brain. And it's something that you don't realize that's happening. And it's automatic for you. And that's executive functioning. So if somebody else has a brain that is wired slightly different and has struggles in that area, to you, if you're neurotypical, or if you don't have that particular issue, that's where the why don't you just do it thing comes in. Because it's not something that we're actually taught about how to prioritize. So I was thinking about that this week, that's something I want to work on. And also, another thing that's difficult with the executive functioning, besides determining what's the most important thing to work on, is, I don't know, do you guys have the same struggle that I do? Not only do I have trouble picking out the most important thing to start with, and then you might say, just pick something. Well, that's fine. I still have to be careful while I'm clear-headed in the beginning, before my brain, within like 3 to 5 minutes of starting something, will go, ADHD symptoms will hijack it. I have to figure out, well, this is just something that is an accommodation. I'm always trying to come up with new accommodations to tools to help me with the things that I have challenges with. So if your eyes don't function properly and you can't see well and everyone else can, what do? You can buy glasses. You can get an eye test. They can see exactly how nearsighted or farsighted you are, and they can tailor make a pair of glasses to you. Well, if you have executive functioning issues where your brain lacks that automatic sorting capability, and you don't have that, and it all looks important, what is the equivalent of a pair of glasses for that? There really isn't one, is there? So even the just pick something can be problematic, right? Okay, so I guess in this particular video, I jumped right into executive functioning. I guess it's really important because I'm trying to make some changes in my life. I'm trying to look at, okay, am I going to start a new part-time job while I'm trying to start this business, while I'm maybe coming back and doing content again? And how does that look? So not only is it you have to choose the task that's important out of your list of really important things. And if you're somebody with ADHD who really struggles with this, chances are you've gotten so overwhelmed because it's been like this for a long time. And if you've been struggling with the paralysis of the overwhelm because the list keeps getting longer and longer, and you start feeling more and more like a failure because of the struggles you've had, especially if you're late diagnosed, you have no idea where to start. You don't know what's most important. And on top of that, another big struggle that I have is I have to stop. This is something I've been doing the past year, maybe two, is I try to look at, before I start a thing, I can give you an example. I need to get a whiteboard to put here so I can start writing these things out so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm not just like randomly talking about fill in the blank, like you can fill in whatever applies to you. Let's give an example. Let's say the things you struggle with is, like for me, one of the things I struggle with is how to figure out how to do my daily cleaning. Now, I do get frustrated because, I feel like I'm turning into a Susie housemaker. Every freaking week it's all about why can't I keep house? Like, why can't I be clean? But then I resent it, and then I get my what do you call it? Demand avoidance kicks in. I don't have to do this. Wait, what happened to me? I used to be a person. I used to make my own decisions. And now, because my life has become shit and a failure, and I work one day a week because I get burned out if I do more, and I have to come to terms with the fact that I have a disability, that I don't want to accept it's a disability, but it's there. Communication issues with family and a relationship, that's really important. I wanted to talk to you guys about that this week as well.